the old saying, right? It's how you get up. What you do after you get up, what happens to you. So you just keep, you take the punches and you keep going, because it's never smooth, right?
And a big negative, you turn around, you help the people, I'm sure mentally, emotionally, and obviously reconstructing the actual structure. All right, so happy Friday, everybody. Merry Christmas. I got my holiday gear on. I know, Pete, you, you didn't realize that you're joining us today when I got this going on,
No, you said something about Christmas ugly sweater, but that you take it to a different level.
And just so you know, I won't take off the jacket because it is definitely sleeveless under there. So I got the guns coming out and everything. So
I love it. I love it. That's what I'm wondering.
All right, but hey, happy Friday, everybody! And listen, the channel here, Pete, as I was telling you earlier, is the whole purpose and the intention is to help change the world one leader at a time. So appreciate you jumping on today. And before we get started, I know there's a lot of local Michigan fans and Michigan alumni we have on today. But Pete, do you mind just telling us a little about life and upbringing and growing up and things? And we'll talk about Michigan and football and a lot of other things. But do you mind telling us about just growing up and life?
Yeah, I'm first generation. My parents came from Eastern Europe, and I had that kind of experience of my dad worked both my mom and dad worked in a factory for Ford Motor Company. And I got, it was a grind, right? They're working and we're going to school, and, they worked a lot of hours, and I had two sisters, and we just really had that ethic of, it was kind of those days when everyone had dinner at 6:00 and they got home at 4:00. So that kind of upbringing, just do the right thing and, work hard.
I love it. And you went to high school here locally in Michigan?
Yes. I went to parochial schools around here. I went to Detroit Catholic Central back when we were in Redford. Now the school is in Novi.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And
Very
so,
place too.
Yeah, I was going to say, and weren't you coaching? Did you tell me that you started coaching a little bit of football there, or helping out the football?
No, I did some. I got my son is in Little League football. It's called Papa Warner, so we do some of that, and I possibly, hopefully, I don't know, some of the place kickers over there at CC, if they ever need help, I can always go and help them out.
Nice. And to your point about place kicking, right? So you have a pretty strong high school career, right? How was that high school team when you were playing football?
I've been fortunate to be around and always been played for a really good team, great coaches. We had a really good program. We went to the state final my junior and senior, but we lost both of them. So
you did?
Yeah. So we got to go. It was really cool. We got back then when the Pontiac Silverdome was here instead of Ford Field. That's where the championship was. So what a unique experience to get to the final twice, but it's funny how we remember every day, everything about those kind of things, or wins and losses, right? So sometimes the loss is more.
Yeah, totally. And so you make it to the high school state championship. That's amazing. And then you got recruited to arguably, and I guess arguably because I'm a Penn State guy, arguably one of the best Big Ten schools in the country, to University of Michigan, right? So tell me about that. When did you go into Michigan?
I graduated high school 1989, so that would have been that fall of '89 would have been my first year there. I had Bo Schembechler was still the head coach then at that time. It happened to turn out to be, we found out later in the year that he decided he was going to step down, and so it was his last season. So that was a unique thing. That experience with him that one year was incredible, right? Experiencing a legend at the school and in the program that we're going to. And I know you say it's arguably, but we don't see it that way. There's a reason why we call ourselves leaders and best, and we bring that attitude. And I think that's something that makes me really proud. We don't always win the championship, but we try to bring that attitude in the highest level that we can, and then the chips fall where they go, right, or where they may.
Yep, absolutely. And so you go in and any so obviously you were a soccer guy turned football, right?
Sure.
Essentially
Yep.
started kicking field goals. Any other guys? I know you went on and played in the pros, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But any other big names come out of school during that time that people may know that played in the
Uh,
pros or?
no, well, a guy after me. There's a few guys after a gentleman by the name of Mike Martin is probably the most famous a guy coming out of there as far as NFL kind of things like that. So Mike is someone that we're proud of at the school. I don't know him so well, but like, yeah, we take pride, and that's that camaraderie that we have at the high
Yeah.
school and even at the Michigan level. I was very fortunate for those kind of things. And Mike also went to Michigan, so he kind of had the same path as me. But um,
I love it.
yeah, it's special.
I love it. So tell me this. So describe yourself, if you could, in maybe one word. What would you, if someone asked you in a maybe an interview like this, or just in general, how would you describe yourself in one word and why?
Oh, there's so many, but I would like to probably resilient. Something that listen, life is up and down, right? Sometimes it's a roller coaster. Sometimes you try to keep it, level when, just little bumps. But, the old saying, right? It's how you get up, what you do after you get up, what happens to you. So you just you take the punches and you keep going because it's never smooth, right? It doesn't, there's always a dilemma. There's a fork you come up to, and you just keep pushing. You can't quit. You got to believe in what you believe in you're doing the right thing. My experience in life, it's turned out good. Turned out
Yeah.
good without many bumps, but if you keep going, you'll get to the finish line. We have something at Michigan. We say that from Bo, actually, those who stay will be champions. So I keep that attitude, even at my company.
I love it. I love it. So you play football. You have an awesome career at Michigan, kicking field goals. What was your longest field goal in a game?
It was, I think, a 46. So it wasn't. We were really good, so we didn't need the
So
field
you didn't
goal.
kick a lot of field goals.
No, it's funny. I have the record for the most PATs or something in the season, something, or probably somebody beat it by now. But we scored a lot of touchdowns. We had a really good team. We won. I think we had four. The class before me would have been 5 Big Ten championships in a row. So hopefully, we can get back on track to those kind of days. But we were a
Yeah.
pretty good football team for sure.
I love it. I love it. Love it. And then you get drafted, correct, to the
No,
NFL, or
no,
How did you make?
no. I wasn't a superstar, and in those days they didn't really draft kickers. But then they started to a little bit later and found out it's important to have a really good kicker, and the guys have taken it to a level that it's just blows my mind how good the guys are today. But I was kind of the guy that chased my dream. I wasn't really, you know, the guy coming out and he's the guy we got to have. So I just worked my butt off again and chased my dream. Got in there. I played some arena football actually before I did any NFL stuff. Got noticed, did really well there, and started getting in and out of camp. So my NFL career, I don't know how much of a career I'll call it, but it was in and out of camps, a little bit of IR, getting in there, called during the season. So I was a grinded out guy, just battling for my position somewhere. They only keep one guy, so but the experience um, of that and chasing that and being with people, like I was fortunate at Catholic Central and at Michigan. Life was good, right? I was at the best place. I was at the top notch schools. We were taken care of as far as in a positive manner, not in a negative kind of thing. But um, you grow up, right, and then you get smacked a little bit upside. So what I mean, you got some real people and real life situations, and I think that's what NFL so much more than I had a career and I made this many field goals or did that, but it really helped me grow up and realize what the real world is about.
Yeah, I think we and I talked about it a little bit how these tryouts go. right? Do you remember me telling the story about the tryouts and what some of the kickers were doing to kind of mess with each other?
Yeah,
Do you remember that story you told me?
if you knew that, then you obviously I must have told you. But yeah, well, the competition is big, Ken. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of you want success, and unfortunately, in the world of everything, right? Like everyone's going to take an edge, and if they can doctor the balls or change the balls or
Deflate the ball, right?
um, I don't know if somebody could talk to Mother Nature and blow the wind as soon as I'm kicking or something like that, they would do it, right? Because it's cutthroat. You get there's one guy that makes the team as far as the kicker goes, um, and fortunately or unfortunately, people do whatever it takes, and
Yeah.
so you got to be ready for that, and and then the best man win, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what I remember thinking as we had that conversation, and for anyone that doesn't know, Pete, his son Dominic and Brady, my son, both play in the same club soccer team together. So, there's a few parents that we always hang out and chat a little bit before practice or during the games and things. And obviously, as I knew he's an athlete, we got to know each other really well. But yeah, just when I remember you telling me that story about the spirit of competition and people competing for things, and I guess at the end of the day, what I thought of was like there's a way to do things, right? If somebody wins something or someone gets ahead because they've doctored the ball and deflated or changed things or whatever, and maybe maybe they get the starting spot, maybe short term they get ahead, but in my belief is that only lasts so long. People with integrity, people who do the right things, people who show up and earn the right to be a certain player on the field will have a longer career. And maybe it's not football, maybe it's in life and more
There you
success in
go.
general, because life tends to kind of work itself out, in my opinion.
I couldn't have
But
said that better myself. That's exactly what the way it should be seen. And it might not just be winning that job. It's about the success in the long term, right? Where we are today. It's interesting to if you could go back or you could see that person where that person that might have chose the wrong path to get to the goal. Where are they today, right? That would be an interesting show.
yeah,
Or the ones that
exactly.
chose the right way. He didn't make the team, but where is he? Yeah.
Right, right. And that short term kind of advantage they gain, their short term win. And yeah, maybe they got the plan. Maybe they're on TV for a year.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, they're the player that's absolutely broke coming out of the league because of again the decisions they make and all the little corners, all the things that cutting corners along the way just started adding up. And then and for a guy like you, after football, tell us about business. Tell us about your business now. What do you do now?
So I
And how,
I
how did your kind of career start beyond football?
well, I was living in Florida, and I saw a lot of hurricanes, and I have family that's in construction and this kind of things. They're doing it up in Michigan, and I saw an opportunity. Things were, it was after the real estate crash, let's call it, in the late 2000 or the 08, 09 time. And I had recently been married, and we just talked, and we decided it'd be a good idea to go back near family, even though my wife's family is from Montenegro. But we thought it would be a good idea to go by mine, and that's where my network is and the people that I know. And back to the Michigan thing, that we look out for our own, and I came up here and opened the doors, and really just kind of opened the doors, learned some things, got my builder's license, and then just pushed and just kept going. Meet this person, meet the next person. You never know who. And it's funny that I don't know if I was completely a believer that hard work could pay off, but like I am, only because if you're patient and you stick to it, believe it or not, somehow if you keep going, you will become a believer, because it'll show the work it pays off, and it
Yeah,
comes, and it so far it has. But you can't stop, because I also have a saying that once you think you made it, you're on your way down. I mean, if
yeah,
you made it right, there's no more up. So that's
yeah.
what I try to
It's
keep me
it.
going.
It's interesting you say that. I was watching. I don't know if you saw the game last night, the LA game, and they had a little 30-second thing about McVay, right, the head coach, and in just a short period of time, he wins the Super Bowl, and he went through a month or so after winning the Super Bowl of like, what's next? Like, what am I going to do now? Because he just, in just a few years of being in the league, he already wins the biggest game of his life and built a team. And he kind of got lost for a little bit and trying to get back on track to get into coaching and getting his head straight about the following year was a bit tough. And to your point, like what happens at that stage when you accomplish and you win is a tough scenario. So your business day. So tell us about that. So you got your construction license, start pushing, start getting out there. So tell us about your company. So what do you guys do?
We're a restoration company. We do disaster work. We're, kind of a company. We call ourselves full service. So we do construction, which we call reconstruction. It's a lot of times we mostly deal with insurance work, disaster work. So someone has, backup in their basement, someone has a fire, we have a house that lightning just struck it, and we get in there, we do the repairs, we get in there, the immediacy, first responders, as far as, getting the situation under control, mitigate the situation. That is one of our departments. So we do the, kind of, let's call it save the day and get things under control, climate control, so that we can stop the damage. Then we go into, we work with the insurance companies and we put it back together, I guess is what we can call it too.
I love it.
But it's a fast action. You got to move and make quick decisions, and and sometimes they go good, sometimes they don't, and you get, you figure it out.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, right? In the worst moments in some people's lives for disaster strikes, the basement floods, the fire happens, and a big negative, you turn around, you help the people, I'm sure mentally, emotionally, and obviously reconstructing the actual structure, kind of get back on track and build it out. So it's very, very interesting that in a negative, there comes a big positive, there comes opportunity. That's really neat because obviously in our organization and the business that I'm in, I've talked to you a lot about it, right? We're in sales, we deal with customers. And oftentimes there's people, and I'm sure you've had this happen, where customers are not happy. They're kind of upset. And if you approach it in the right way, you're able to kind of win them over. And then instead of them being a huge problem or a huge negative, it actually becomes an opportunity to make things better and maybe even more business down the road as things, turn into a positive.
Oh, you hit it right on the button. That's exactly. I try to myself and try to create my team where we're empathetic, right? This is not, so we're not the typical construction mitigation. Like it's a unique situation. Everyone is, their lives, our clients' lives have been turned upside down. The kids still got to get to school. They still got to get to work. Life has to move while you have, 6, 7 big, large kind of guys in there kind of moving furniture and touching your, important belongings, and they got to move because, you got soot and we got to save things. So it's a unique situation, and people respond in different ways, and we have to be able to navigate that for them because, it's traumatic. It's traumatic, or it can be.
Yeah, definitely. And so tell me about just life of an entrepreneur. What are some lessons that you've learned that you maybe share with Dom or you share with young, men and women that are coming out of college? And if you had any advice about things like that, but how's entrepreneurship been? How would you describe that?
I love it. It's been painful. I guess maybe I like pain. I don't know. I'm kind of old fashioned. No pain, no gain. But it's unique. It's different. It's something that switching from kind of trying to play professional sports to something like this. It excites me too because you get to you can be prideful and you're responsible for a lot of people, and I love that. And you're trying to grow something and be successful. I always say that the money follows, right? Like, let's be successful. Let's do the right thing. Let's help. Let's let's, be profitable. Let's share. Let's everybody, be a part of this. I just tell them again, it sounds really simple, but most people know what the right thing to do is. You come to a lot of times in life as an entrepreneur, you're always constantly thinking, right? Your mind doesn't stop, and it can't. And if it does, then you're in trouble, right? Then you're not an entrepreneur. So you always want to be better. You got to have that drive to be better, to have new ideas, to get ahead. Um, and when you pick something, like you come to forks in life, I always think, you know what I mean? Like, I believe a little bit in destiny, and, I'm a very faithful person. And, God brings you to that fork, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a complete destiny, right? The destiny's kind of, but you got to make the right choices for that destiny to fall, or you could go left when you go right. Right. So,
Yeah.
but when you choose it, go in all hardly. I hope coach, with things. And I always let the guys, don't be indecisive. When you make your decision, go with it, live with it. And, usually it comes out pretty good. So if
Yeah.
you thought it out, it comes out pretty good.
I agree. It's interesting, right? Because to your point, like it things don't happen, unless you make the right decisions, right? So to your point, everyone has choices, right? Everyone has the thought in their mind is, do I do this? Do I do the right thing,
Right.
or do I do the easy thing? I've come to know in my career that the right thing is never easy. It's normally the harder route. It's normally the more painful route. It's normally the more out of my comfort zone route. But when I lean into those things, I lean into the challenge, the opportunity tends to follow it, right? And to your point, no pain, no gain. It's funny because I said that to, I know you go to the gym a lot like I do over at Lifetime. And I said that to the trainer a few weeks ago, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. No pain, no gain. He's like, no. If you have pain, we got to stop because you're hurting yourself right now. You know what I mean? He's like, no. That's in here in the gym. That's a dumb saying. Like, don't say that. I feel like I'm hurting you. But yeah, no pain, no gain. I agree. When you lean into that stuff and you just make great decisions and you're disciplined in your activity, you tend to move forward in what you want to accomplish. So let me ask you this. So obviously, being an entrepreneur, there's fruits of your labor. You have and listen, I'm outside looking in and being friends. Most recently. I see your family. I see how beautiful it is. I see the kids and the sports. And I know every once in a while I'm like, hey, where you at? And you're like, I'm going to the Rose Bowl to see the Michigan game. Did you end up getting the tickets, by the way?
We got tickets, but we didn't. We're not gonna go. We're gonna go skiing somewhere. So,
Oh, okay.
so I got some friends that are gonna end up using them. So I still got my fingers crossed. If we win, maybe we end up in Houston or something like that.
Okay. Well, even a bigger game, and even a better game to go to. And there's no if. Just for anyone that's in our office that's a Michigan fan, there's no if. We're going to Houston.
I don't want them throwing things at the screen or anything like that.
So obviously, again, so going skiing, like you said, anything neat you've done for your family, and again, when I was a young guy, I always dreamed about having control. I dreamed about having a bit of finances, a bit of disposable income, where I could get away a little bit. I know, I think from what I remember, you guys take a month and travel back to Montenegro every year for the most part and see family. Is that a common practice being an entrepreneur? Again, if you run a good business, the fruits of your labor. I know my family went to Colombia for 10 days this summer, right? Any other neat little things that you do because you have, you choose the hard route in a way by being an entrepreneur?
No, the opportunities it gives you, right? So the effort, and it's, for all the hard work that you put in, and the time, and and the mental hard work, because you got to work, we work hard, but you work smart. It gives us opportunity. Yes, we do go, and being able to, focus on doing everything correctly while we're here gives us an opportunity to do those things. That is, like, I don't know how to explain the pleasure to be able to do that for your family, the people that you love, and it's incredible. And you even take it to the level of even with your company, right? I look at them as all my family. I'm responsible for them. We have our holidays, we do bonuses, we do things, whatever we can do to help somebody, be there for someone, shoulder to cry, all that kind of stuff. But as far as my family, the that's the reward, right? So I don't know, as a father, you know what I mean? Like it's special, and it kind of, maybe it's the male thing, like to be able to provide and put them in a situation to succeed. I look back at my father, right? He didn't have the things or the opportunities, but he's the one that set that ground, the base, right? To this is what, if you do it this way, it comes up, and you know what I mean, and success to him too, right? So when your children are successful and the people around you are successful, there's just so much pride, and being able to give them that pleasure and to understand it, right? Not just to know where it came from, and what we do, and why is this, and grandpa did this, and and this is what we do, this is what dad does, right? And this is what, this is what is good for you to do, right? But you get to make your own choices. But yeah, that's what it is. Kind of, it's just,
I love
it's
it.
unbelievable. You
I
can't.
love it. I love it. I couldn't agree more. When I think of my parents, and obviously we've talked a lot about the world of kind of our parents and how much of an impact they've made on us. I think of my father, who he gave me $1 a day to make his lunch. And it was, he didn't, and this is kind of like middle school and high school. And it wasn't because he couldn't afford to get lunch or anything crazy. It's because he said he'd rather eat lunch at his desk as a civil engineer and get more work done so he could leave earlier to be there at soccer practice and to be home and to be around us as kids. Cause he drove an hour one way to work. And I remember thinking about that. And even today in my life, I think about, man, how to be efficient, right? How yes, money is important. Yes, it gets us the Rolexes. Yes, it gets us the travel, the ski trips, the time with our family. Yes, for sure. But there's nothing more valuable than time. There's nothing more valuable than time. And to be able to be an entrepreneur and to be in control, to kind of spend that time. And, I learned a lot of that stuff from my parents too. So very, very cool. Well, I know we came up on 30 minutes pretty quick. I don't know if you realize that, but any final thoughts, Pete, for anyone that's that's maybe jumping on the channel, or any Michigan fans out there, you love to share some final thoughts with them. By the way, go Michigan! I'm an honorary Michigan fan for the Final Four. I text you to the games. I'm like, man, they're looking good, right? So I know we give each other shit when Penn State plays Michigan, but you guys have gotten us the last couple of years. So my hat's off to you.
Keep that going, man. But good. No, I appreciate it. And you've always been supportive, and I do recognize those text messages. It's nice. Thank you. I would just, I was to Michigan fans, go blue. Hopefully we can, it'll be a tough game, but we'll see. I think this could be our year. So hopefully that's the plan. And to young people, just, stick the path. And the ones that don't have one exactly, that's the path, right? Until you put it together, right? The lefts and rights, and you're going to come into that place, and you might be at a job where at a place where it's not the final goal, but take everything you can from that, good and bad. That's one thing I learned the most of being around other successful people, let's call it. We all have good and bad, right? So you want to take it all. I tell my son all the time, take all the information, not just from one person. Take it all, make it yours, and then decide and go. And then just go with it. And if you miss, right, you get up to do it again, right? I always try to say you get knocked down, right? There's a saying a coach said too, that 90% of is how you react to what just 10% is what happened to you. So
yeah. I love it.
I
love it. 100%. Yeah. To your point, you get knocked down, you get back up. The most valuable lessons I know in my career, not just in sports, but also in the workplace, haven't been the ones that went my way. Haven't been the days that have been, all rainbows and butterflies. It's the days where I've gotten my ass kicked and things did not go our way. Things, to your point, something happens with personnel, something happens with staff, something happens with a key client, and it goes the way that you never saw it happening. Those are the moments where I learned how to react and be calm and make good decisions over experience, right? The experience of learning how to run a business is more valuable than actually, someone telling you about it. You going through it is how you really learn. So, well, Pete, thank you so much for jumping on today. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I know we have a few days until the big jolly guy comes by, but Happy New Year again. I'm sure I'll chat with you or see you before the new year, but obviously always enjoyed our conversations and our friendship, around the soccer field.
Feel the same way.
And thank you so much. And we'll, like I said, we'll upload this, we'll get on the channel and so we can share it with all your social medias. But happy holidays, everybody's jumped on. Please follow us on, obviously on YouTube, please subscribe. And on all the other social media sites, the Instagrams and the TikToks and all those things. But happy holidays. If you can hang tight, Pete, I'm going to stop the recording and then it'll upload in a second. But you guys have a great holiday season. Bye-bye now.